back. Talking Tottenham every week, no better place to be sat. If it's a win, lose, draw, we'll be here for a chat. Best believe we tackle topics like Romero in the back. Young Min Son, what can go wrong when he's on form? It's a dream come true, so sit back, relax and vibe with us. Special guests every time here to discuss. Bring your passion, come along for the ride, and don't forget to subscribe, cause...
Hello and welcome to another episode of Hollie's Hotspurs Live, where tonight we're going to talk about beating Liverpool at home. There's an awful lot to talk about, the football and all the controversy that's around it, but we're good to get stuck into it. And with me tonight to dissect everything, I am joined by three fabulous guests. So first of all, Graham, it's so lovely to have you back on the channel, my friend. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, Hollie. Looking forward to it. Controversy all around, so that's why you get me on, isn't it?
Oh, I feel like I timed it well. I feel like there was controversy coming. I was like, Graham's the man to dissect it all. But it's great to have you on, Graham. Also joined by Dan. Dan, it's lovely to have you on again, my friend. How have you been?
Yeah, it's been a while, Hollie. It's also a pleasure to be on the show. And what a show to come on to. I mean, what a weekend. So plenty of talking points to dissect, as you say.
Indeed, lots and lots. And last but not least, Crackers. Crackers, how are you, my friend?
Is he winding us up?
He is, isn't he?
That's the best he's ever been.
I think Crackers is having some technical issues. He's lost for words. We'll get Crackers back in a minute, but I'm sure he's well. Lots to dissect. So we'll dive straight in. I'm going to remove it and hopefully he'll join back in a bit. But let's dive straight. Oh, hang on. He's come back. There he is. He's back. How are you, Crackers?
He was frozen there.
Yeah. And
that's the best thing that's ever come out of your mouth. He's got to get it.
He's just out his Wi-Fi, man. Oh, he's back. What?
Is he winding us up or what?
I have no idea, man.
Can hear me, I can hear you, but the whole lot's just come to a frozen stop. So I don't know if you can hear me. I might have to go out and come back in.
Have you got Wi-Fi there?
He needs 50p, by the looks of it.
Oh my days. Right, I'm going to boot him out.
We're fully all over it. Let me try going out and coming back in. Right, thanks for coming. See you in a mo.
See you in a mo. Oh dear. But right, let's get into the football while Cracker sorts out his Wi-Fi. Graham, I'm going to come to you first. There's a lot of controversy that game. Before we get on to that, I want to talk about the lineup because seeing Richarlison out on the left, how did you kind of find that call from Ange?
Well, I thought he used the pace of Sonny to get between the two centre halves, and he did it at Arsenal the week before. And you know, you got to give Richarlison his credit. You know, he worked hard on that left side, and he made the first goal. And yeah, he did okay. But you know, Ange, whatever he does, it works. And yeah, I thought it was the right decision on Saturday. I thought, yeah, let's give him a chance. He's playing at home. Playing at Arsenal would have been very difficult for Richarlison, but playing at home, the crowd would be on his side. And you know, he was terrific first half. He put in another cross that if we'd have had a proper striker, he would have scored. It was in the 6-yard box. But, you know, give them their due. Sonny's done fantastic. He's, you know, 3 goals in 2 games. And, yeah, he's had a really good September, Sonny. So, yeah, I was pleased for the team. I thought we played really well.
No, we did. And I think that's the thing, because obviously, Dan, like Graham said, Son's been playing so well. You can't really take him out of the middle at the moment. So seeing Richarlison on that left, I think was a big call from Ange to do. Obviously, I know that Brennan Johnson was suffering an injury, but it was good to see, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, as you say, it'd be really sort of strange to not play Son through the middle after playing so well against Arsenal the week before. And also, as you say, Brennan Johnson being out, you're kind of then wondering who's going to play that wide left position. You may have gone Manor Solomon, but when you've got Richarlison as well, and as Graham sort of says, with the options and the pace you can utilise through Son, it's kind of like, not quite by default, but with the options that were left over, you'd think, well, why not play Richarlison? A lot of people say, you know, it's kind of works well through the centre and he's kind of out wide and not doing as well. But you kind of look at his performance and think there's something there. I'm not Richarlison's biggest fan, if I'm honest, but if you keep sort of chipping away those kind of performances, it just gives you another option across the season.
Definitely, and I think that's the thing. I think while Sonny is playing so well in that front role as that centerpiece, it's kind of like you can't take him away from that. But like you said, it's good to have another string to our bow with Richarlison down that side, being able to link things together. Because obviously, as well, Graham, I want to talk about the atmosphere and the fact that I know that we were talking previously before we went live at the fact that it's just a whole different game now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You know, you've got the drummer, is it what is it? Trumpet, you know, and I think everybody's bought into that now, and Ange's song gets them going. But straight at the end of the game as well, you know, last year there would have been half-empty stadium. Even if we were winning, there was half-empty stadium. This year, nobody wants to leave because the music comes on, and if we've won, they just all go mad. And you know, but that's what we need. We need that sort of atmosphere in the ground. You know, you need to make it a fortress. And you know, I've got to say, the fans have played their part this year. They've been absolutely amazing. But Ange's given them the football that they want. And you know, and like I said, like when I was on your show, I don't know how long ago it was, you had to get rid of the dead wood. You had to get rid of the dead wood, bring the youngsters in, bring the fresh people that can give you energy in the team. And every player looks a totally different player this year, from goalkeeper all the way through. And, you know, you've got to hold your hands up to him and say, you know, he was only at the club 7 games and he's transformed the club.
He really has. And I want to kind of get your thoughts on it as well, Dan, because obviously, like we all say, Ange is really, I think, brought the fan base together so close with the players again, which for me last season I just had so much disconnect. Is it for you the fact that we are playing well, that everybody's so together, or do you think it's just a fresh face, new ideas, and we're playing the way Tottenham should be playing?
I think it's a bit of both, to be honest. I think ultimately you need buy-in from the manager, the fans, the players, and it seems that everything's kind of heading that right direction. Now, sometimes you can play nice football and not get results, and it's kind of that argument where a season ago or 2 seasons ago under Mourinho, Conte, etc., we were playing nasty football to watch and getting results. You're kind of thinking, okay, is this what we've done? Have we sold our soul, so to speak? And now it's kind of refreshing just to be not sacrificing the results, but also playing well. And I just feel that, as Graham says, you've got such a lift in the stadium. All that deadwood's gone. It just feels like a new era. And yes, obviously, not losing matches obviously builds that momentum, and it's easier to buy into it. I mean, let's say if we lost like to Arsenal, we lost on Saturday, it'd be disappointing, but you still have something to sort of grab hold on. So it's just that kind of unbeaten run that's formulating at the moment. It's kind of thinking, well, where can we go? And I'm not suggesting like the biggest prizes, but it's just nice to look forward to football every weekend rather than just thinking, oh God, Spurs are playing this weekend, and absolutely dreading it.
Definitely. I think that's the thing. I think for me, it was dread. And it was the fact that when international break came, I felt like, oh my God, this is the right time. Now, I just want Ange ball all the time. But Graham, I want to get onto the controversy because it did kind of happen quite early on. And that obviously was the fact that there was a sending off. What was your kind of take on it? Because obviously there's been a lot of talk, as we know, from certain media outlets that it should have, it shouldn't have. What was your kind of first initial take?
I was sat with the boys, Pat Jennings, David Howes, Mickey, and when he scored, I actually thought I like the linesman didn't put his flag up, and I thought, oh, I was a bit down. I thought, oh, he scored, but he didn't look offside because Porro was by the side of him, but Porro was like the other side of him. But Romero was a bit deeper, and I thought, we'd give a sloppy goal away there. And after we had played really, really well, and then when the linesman put his flag up, I said, he must have been offside then. So that was good, and that was it. You know, I didn't know till after the game that he was onside, and you know, it's nothing to do with Tottenham. It's the referees and not the referee, but the VAR have mucked up. You know, that's nothing to do with Tottenham Hotspur, the football club, the players or anything. It's to do with VAR. You know, and all you've got all day today and yesterday, Liverpool, they put a letter in now. Well, I think we should put a letter in and say, can we go and play in the Champions League again? Because, you know, that wasn't a penalty. You know, but it can go on and on and on. Look at Man United the other week. Man United played Wolves. The goalkeeper nearly knocked the lad's head off. So can Wolves go back and get a penalty and play again? It's just ridiculous. Get on with it. It's gone. They lost. Move on. That's what you got to do.
I think that's the thing. I think it's the fact that what is going to be done if a statement comes out and it's found that VAR is in the wrong. I mean, I'm going to bring crackers in.
They are in the wrong, Ollie. They are in the wrong.
But I don't know what that's going to do.
They've owned up, yeah, but you can't do anything because it's gone. It was Sunday or Saturday. Saturday night. It's now Monday night. You can't. What do you want to do? Play behind closed doors? The lad gets sent off. Jones gets sent off after 20 minutes, and then Jota gets sent off after 60 minutes, and we win 2-1 again. Are they still going to moan?
I think this is the thing.
Get on with it.
I think that's the thing, because I think even there was lots of talk about saying, oh, well, if we didn't have those players off, if this didn't happen, we'd still win. But Dan, I'm going to bring you in before I bring Crackers in, because I think his meter's back. Actually, let me bring Crackers in. Is his meter back on? Have you switched it on, boss?
He's gone outside. He's gone to somebody else's house.
I'm on the phone. The laptop just completely fell over. I think I spilled a drink on it, Hollie. Look, I was just having a nice big glass of South Tears.
Do you know, can I just say,
delicious South Tears, and I spilled it on my laptop.
Somebody as Crackers put potatoes in instead of euros.
Where was that? Oh, that cracked me up. There it is. Oh dear. But I'm glad to have you back, Crackers. But before I come to you, I'm going to go to Dan, because I want to get Dan's take on it. Obviously, we're talking about the linesman incident at the moment, and news is coming out tonight that Liverpool want to hear the voice recording of what was happening between VAR. So, Dan, what's your kind of take on everything that's happened in terms of that offside?
Well, I mean, let's be honest. It was a human error, massive human error from the PGMOL and the people officiating the game in the Stockley Park and all that. So from a football point of view, you don't want to see that, because VAR has been brought in to help referees and make the game painless from an officiating point of view. From a Spurs point of view, I can't say I care really, because we haven't had the rub of the green in so many different occasions. Roy Carroll scooping the ball about 3 yards over the line years ago. Sissoko, Champions League final. The list could go on and on and on. So I don't feel any sort of remorse for Liverpool. If the shoe was on the other foot, they'd be feeling exactly the same. So yeah, it's sort of harsh from that point of view. And yes, it's a massive balls up, but you have to remember there's no precedent for ever replaying a game in this instance. We've had many PGMOL apologies in the past, and life goes on. So what Liverpool are trying to do here by sort of pushing this, well, we'll take any action necessary and we'll sort of explore every avenue. Why? They're just banging their head against the wall, really. Yes, they could get the audio, but what's that going to solve? That's, yes, going to bring it to light and kind of rid any conspiracy theory, if you will. And I think anyone who thinks it's a conspiracy is barking up the wrong tree anyway. But it's kind of, to a certain degree, they just have to let it go. Yes, they've been massively done over in the sense of a bad decision, but it's not foul play in the sense where this is a big fix and everyone's up against Liverpool. It's just kind of just happens. You know, before goal line technology, Frank Lampard of the 2010 World Cup, you know, canned off the bar, went in, we didn't get a goal. The game wasn't replayed then, was it? You could even say the 1966 World Cup final for the Germans if they wanted to redress that. That's just football. You know, if the laws are in place and they're not upheld, then they had a very small window to rectify that and say, actually, I think something is wrong. Maybe we can go back and check it again. But as soon as Spurs take that free kick, you can't. So you just have to let it go.
Well said, Dan. I think that's the thing. I think it's the fact that if you do a replay, you've opened a whole can of worms for everything. I mean, Crackers, I know you had your glass full of tears, but what's your kind of take, obviously, especially on this offside thing at the moment? Because I think all three of us are banging our head against the wall, and I just don't think this is the same energy. Why are Liverpool coming? Why isn't there, like, I think if the sentiment was that all the clubs were going to band together to try and fix this, but it seems like when it suits Liverpool, that's when they want to start chirping up. Like, why is this?
Yeah, correct. You know, I don't remember them letting us roll the ball into the net their end in the Champions League final after the ball hit Sissoko's armpit to make it 1-1 because it was unfair. You know, it's a nonsense. It's an absolute nonsense. Look, an error's been made. It's as simple as that. VAR's not fit for purpose. Yeah, it could be, but not yet. It's just not advanced enough. So look, scrap it until such times as you can get it right, or get it right. Simple as that. But just the mad thing is, it just seems that their rather odd fan base has come after Spurs for this. I mean, like, you know, I don't remember anybody from Tottenham being in that VAR truck on Saturday evening. It's just bizarre where they've come from us.
I sneaked in.
Still your fault, Graham.
It's ridiculous. The whole thing with VAR is an absolute nonsense. We discussed this before, I'm sure we did, Hollie, with referees were getting 97% of decisions right when they looked at a load and they watched them back. You know, this is operating theatre, you know, hospital operating theatre failure rates 3%. Railway signalling a couple of percent. So they're up now getting right a 97% correct and right ratio up with life and death like equipment. So I just don't see why VAR ever came in. But the FA being the FA and the football authorities worldwide being the football authorities worldwide now just have to double down. Can you imagine if they actually like withdrew it? I mean, this is the problem. They're so far down the rabbit hole now. They've got to stick with it. Otherwise, they're not fit. Well, they're not fit for purpose anyway. But they'll be admitting they're not. But I mean, even when there is offside decisions, they seem to open up a laptop akin to one I was trying to use at the start of the show, and they get like MS Paint out from 1995 and like other sort of second. Yeah, it is. They second guess when the ball's leaving the foot, and a blurry picture of like, you know, Sonny's toe was offside that time when it versus Leicester. I mean, how can they tell the ball's left the foot? You're dealing with today's football. You're dealing with microseconds and micromillimeters with onside and offside, and they're just not using equipment to capture that. So the whole thing's just a nonsense. It's pissing the wind guessing, and which is what it always was. Best judgment calls anyway. So
but Cracker, the thing about it is, right, when we played, like a linesman, if he was offside, he thought he was offside, he put his flag straight up. Now they wait until he scored. That's what causes all the problem.
Yeah.
That's what causes the problem.
Yeah.
They let it go on and on and on. He has a shot. All right, it might not go in. It goes in. Then he puts his flag up 10, 15 seconds later. So if he'd on Saturday, if it wasn't VAR and he got played through, he would have put his flag up. The lad wouldn't have scored.
No.
So there wouldn't be no controversy.
Yeah, exactly that. And
so there's your problem, because they don't put their flag up quick enough.
You do know as well, at some stage, it's not quite happened yet, but with this not flagging and offside until the end of the phase of play, there's going to be a player get seriously injured.
Seriously.
And then let's see what happens. We're going to, honestly, I think every week after Premier League football, we're going to end up with court cases. Like, you know, because of this, because of that, because of everything else. It's nonsense, absolute nonsense. Get it right or shelve it until it is.
Yeah, I agree.
Dan, I'm gonna pose a question to you. How do you fix it? I mean, is there another technology you bring into it that's if it's offside, your watch buzzes or something? How do you fix this? Because it's clearly not changing at the moment.
Well, I think the fix is the semi-automated offsides that we see in the World Cup and the Champions League. The technology is already there. Ironically, the Premier League club said, no, we don't want that. We'll stick with VAR. What you could do is what Crackers is explaining in that scenario of, you know, the flag staying down and all that. You kind of almost have a redundant role for an assistant referee at the moment. So why not remove his remit of offsides, go to the semi-automated offsides, and he can still do the throw-ins and the corners and such, and just take offsides away from him, because technology, if it's automated, doesn't have to worry about human judgment, because obviously the linesman makes the call on Saturday, it gets missed and so on and so forth. That's where the issue comes. But if it's all automated, you take all the human element out of it, in theory, it can't go wrong. So why not just strip that away from the assistant linesman at the moment?
Exactly. I think you should become president, Dan. I think that's well said. But obviously, moving away from the VAR and offside, because that's all everybody's talking about at the moment. There was obviously controversy with the red card as well. Graham, I'll come to you. Obviously,
I never made a tackle like that in my life.
There we go. Enough said. But what was your take on it? Because lots of people are saying this is going to be the last controversial thing we talk about, I promise. What would you take on it? Is it unfortunate that his foot rolls over the ball? If it rolls over the ball, that's it? Like, what is it for you?
Listen, if you see, yeah, he was unfortunate, but letter of law, it's a sending off. He's gone over the top of the ball. Whether he meant to do it or not, he went over the top of the ball. Soon as he did it, have a look at his demeanour. He went, "Oh, sorry, really? I didn't mean." So he's guilty. He's owned up. He's done it. Mm-hmm. So once he put his hands up, he went, "Oh, I'm sorry." He knew he'd done it. But you know, when he went to the VAR and he went to the camera, the TV, it showed the slow motion, which didn't make it look good. But it wasn't that bad. But it was a sending off. 100%, it was a sending off. You cannot do that in football. Like, I listened to Gary Neville. Oh, he drives me around the bend. Like, oh, yeah, but his foot slipped off the ball. Well, what's it doing on top of the bloody ball?
Mm.
Yeah. Well, so he was going to do a trick, was he? Stand on top of the ball. He knew what he was doing.
No.
So it's a sending off. And he, as soon as you saw what he did, put his hands up, he was guilty.
He knew straight away, sort of thing. And I think that's the thing. I think this game was sadly riddled with a lot of controversy that could have been avoided and sadly wasn't. But Crackers, I want to bring it back to Tottenham because we did see a wonderful goal again between Madders, Richarlison and Tassoni. What do you make of those three? I mean, especially Richarlison. I know your Wi-Fi was playing that when you weren't here, but we were talking about how good it was to see Richie out on the left and actually putting things together.
Yeah, he's obviously had his issues, and which it's now looking like he's going to get resolved. So he's got a good dressing room around him. You know, you can see the amount of love and support that he's got. So let's see how he does now that's behind him. But I don't think, be under no doubt, he'll get the support and love and a bit of time. But if he doesn't cut the mustard, he'll be out. He'll be gone. Ange Postecoglou won't suffer any slackers as such. So if he gets given the time, but he's still not pulling up any trees, then he'll be gone. Because, I know we live in a really cuddly, all looking after each other society now, or try to be, and quite rightly in some respects. But in other respects, football remains a cruel sport, and you're either good enough or you're out, and it is as simple as that. So there's a balance to get out. You've got to try and look after the person and nurture the person, but you've also got to be quite harsh if they're just not pulling up trees. But as I said, Saturday he looked fantastic. He was sharp. He was at it. I don't know. It's an odd one. He'd probably look even better if he was playing at these levels at a different time and under maybe a different manager. He's just got so many players around him at the moment that are not pulling up trees, that are pulling up forests, it looks like. Maddison, Basuma, Udogie, Sonny. There's some players playing unbelievably well. So it's almost dulling the shine of Richarlison since all that's come out. But, he's been having some problems. So I don't know. I'm still undecided with him. You give him a go and see where he goes from now.
100%. And I think it was good for him to obviously get that assist for Sonny. So hopefully that gives him a bit of a boost. But Dan, I want to talk about Sonny. It's probably an easy question, but how well has Sonny managed to perform this early on in the summer, in September, considering the fact that obviously last season he probably wasn't at his best, was he?
No, I mean, obviously he set the bar high for himself last season and he wasn't quite those levels and everyone thinks all of a sudden we've got a bad player on our hands. That's not the case. They say, form is temporary, class is permanent. I think Son is the epitome of that. So this season, he's obviously shone since Harry Kane's replacement. A lot's been said about everyone else sort of taking on the mantle as a team now, not just relying on Kane to sort of say, well, he'll get us out of the mess and he'll get a brace and everything's fine. So I think with no Kane, Son has to step up and say, look, this is on me now, not just on him, but more of a kind of squad ethos than it was before. But I think he's kind of stood up to the challenge and we're seeing the best of him now. So I feel that long may it continue. We obviously need him to stay fit. We haven't got many options if he is unwell or absent for injury. So that's the kind of the cotton wool approach we probably have to take throughout the season. But also playing once a week, you kind of think, well, we're a lot fortunate compared to the teams in Europe. So that might also benefit us further down the line. So long may it continue in terms of some.
Love that. I love that. And like you say, injury is a big worry for us, but the fact that, like you said, we've got that week rest is kind of like a blessing in disguise, I think, this season, especially where Ange is trying to mould this team together. Graham, I've got a question. Lynch has said, I need to know what Graham thinks of Romero and Mickey van der Ven, aka Daddy Longlegs, as I like to call him. So for you, what do you make of that partnership so far this season?
They're the second best couple after me and Paul Miller. Is that right, Crackers? Actually,
let me unmute. Kids, if you never saw Robbo and Maxi play, they were. I'm going to try and be polite. They were formidable. But listen, be under no illusion that the pair of them had something about them football-wise as well. I mean, history sometimes recalls and goes, oh, yeah, they were just a pair of kick-em-up-the-arse merchants. Both of them could actually play a good bit of football as well. Very, very, very good footballers. So, I think you're right, Graham. I think they probably are our second-best partnership.
The 10 euros is on its way, all right? So, no, listen, last year, we looked really, really poor at the back. I'm watching VDV and I'm thinking, wow, he is something special. And Romero now has learned, I don't know if it's because he's not in the World Cup this Christmas, that he's playing out of his skin now. And I don't know if you saw it on Saturday, when Sonny came off, he gave the armband to Maddison, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
See, he went and got it off him, Romero. He went, that's mine. Put it on his shirt. So that for me says, yeah, we got him back now. And I think as a couple, I think they're going to be, unbelievable this season. I said to you last time I was on, we had to get rid of the dead wood at the back. And the manager's done it. He likes a bit of pace in his team. He likes people that can play. He doesn't like slow football. I was watching him on Saturday. When we started being slow play, when we were against 9 men, he was saying, no, move the ball quicker, move it quicker. And that's what he wants. And I'm just pleased that, we still need another centre half in case one of them gets injured. But those two are formidable. I think they're as good as Vertonghen and Alderweireld. Now they have to prove it. They have to do it not just for 7 games. They have to do it for 38 games. And yeah, they are fantastic at the moment.
No, they really are. And it's a great way you put it, in the fact that I think there's a lot of comparison between lots of players in this team to old in terms of Jan Vertonghen and Alderweireld. I think you hit the nail on the head with that one, because I very much feel that too. And like you said, hopefully they maintain that. And
they were third best. They were.
Defo, below you, wasn't it?
Oh, well, below us, mate. Don't worry about it. We won trophies.
Oh yeah, true. Oh, that old chestnut. But Crackers, I don't know if we've spoken about how good the defence was, but Liverpool actually did manage to score, didn't they? With a finish from Gakpo. Was there anything you think that they could have done better in that instance, or do you think it was just one of those that he absolutely swiveled on it? And I think he hurt his knee in that kind of process too.
Yeah, it's maybe we could have tried to manage that phase of play a little bit better, but again, Liverpool are a decent side. You know, they're a good side, especially up front. They are a phenomenal side. So conceding a goal to them, they've not lost since April. That's their first defeat is us. So yeah, maybe we could have managed that a little bit better, but he took it very well. Thankfully, I was down getting a pint, so I didn't have to watch them jump up and down and celebrate it. But I don't know. I think he's just pulled he's pulled something out of nothing and managed to get himself a decentish goal and back in it. It was an unfortunate time to concede as well. If we'd have got into the break, sometimes football isn't about just the goals. It's like when they happen, and they can have huge effects. Vicario made an incredible double save in the first half as well, and what a keeper he's turned out to be for literally the price of about 4.5 times worth of beers at the stadium. He's fantastic. So we're talking about that defence and that pairing. As Graham's far more qualified than I am to tell you, if you've got a keeper behind you that you absolutely trust, and a couple of wing backs as well, are going to be doing their job, that whole defence, probably more than anywhere else on the pitch, is very much you rely on him and he relies on him and he relies. You work as a team. You work as a 4 or a 5, depending on your formation. So everybody in the back needs to be on it and knowing that they can rely on each other. Midfield to a degree, but not so much. And then strikers are just the lone wolves that do what they do, really, aren't they? So, but that whole back 4-5 at the moment is just Porro as well, looking brilliant, really, really brilliant. So yeah, maybe we could have done something, but I think he's just pulled one out of the bag, to be honest. So okay. It's that I think that's a small nitpick in what was a fantastic afternoon, to be honest.
No, definitely, and like you said, I want to pick obviously on that back line, and I know we've touched on it a little bit, but Dad, I think the only real threat that I think Liverpool kept posing was obviously Salah down that wing, and again for another week in, I think Adogi, however you say his name, I always get it wrong, bad pronunciation, but he's been class, I think, and again managing to kind of defend off Salah again this weekend.
Yeah, obviously he runs the tightrope of being on the yellow card as he did against Arsenal, but when you're on a yellow card, it's very easy to then make a rash tackle, as we've sort of seen in that game on Saturday and any other game. His kind of head's gone, bang, you're off, you're down to 10 men. So just to keep that composure and keep a world-class player not in your pocket, but keep him at bay is to be commended. We forget that he's young, he's new to the club, he's new to the Premier League. It's a lot to take on very quickly, but he's certainly, keeping his head above water and more. So if he plays like that, again, it's kind of all positives, really. So when you look at the Spurs sort of starting 11, him being one of them, you kind of think, right, an 11 is absolutely fine. We go back to injuries early and you think, if we get a couple, that's when it might get a little bit worrying. So you kind of just got to ride that wave at the moment and just hope everyone stays fit. Again, you get to January, hopefully a couple more reinforcements, depending on where we are on the table, might bolster our hopes even further. So it's just, everyone's just doing a great job. And it's just nice because, Holes, we've done podcasts before and we just complain about, Eric Dyer, Ben Davis, just names, but you know what I mean? It'll be more complaints than positives. And it's just nice to sort of say, he's doing a good job and they're doing a good job and everyone's just doing what they need to do. And it's just, riding that wave of momentum and it's positive. So more power to it.
Definitely. And Dad, I want to stick with you because obviously we've spoken about Adoji and I want to speak about Pedro Porro because, again, I think he's gone a little bit unnoticed. I think he had a brilliant game against Arsenal and obviously then he got rewarded after he crossed the ball into Matip's feet. So for that side of the game, how are you finding Pedro Porro?
Well, it's almost like an auxiliary winger at times, isn't he? I think it's kind of the overload that we need, especially against 9 men on Saturday, because as silly as it may sound, it's actually quite hard to break down 9 men because they revert to a real sort of ultra defensive. So you haven't got that space to pick them apart. So the fact that Porro is prepared to get so far forward and then stretch that space out wide is just an absolute blessing. Last season he's probably told, don't ever go over the halfway line. The football is turgid, it's slow. There's not that kind of will to sort of bomb forward. It's just, again, refreshing to see. So I think he's playing great football, and obviously he's taken on the instructions that Ange Postecoglou is giving him, and it just seems to be clicking, doesn't it?
It really does. And I think it's the fact that we're seeing players now, Graham, that under the lights of Conte and Mourinho, they weren't blossoming. I mean, Bissouma's been a totally different player this season, hasn't he?
Yeah, look, I went to the training ground once last year, and I said I would never go back and watch that training. They were training, and Bissouma, when he was playing in the training thing, he got to the halfway line, and all you heard from the coaches was, "Don't go forward, don't go forward." Well, it's just ridiculous. Conte and Mourinho is so much a dinosaur. Yeah, they've won everything. Good luck to them. But their football's gone. Football's got more exciting now. It's more about, can we score more than you? Can we entertain the crowd? Can we play football? It's not about getting everybody behind the ball and trying to win 1-0. And it's just, we had it for 4 years. It was just dire. But at the end of it, this manager's come in. Whether we do anything this year, we will get in the top 4. I'll tell you that now. Because all the cup games they've got and all the European games, they will pick up lots and lots and lots of injuries. Like Dan said earlier, we need to go into the transfer market. We don't need to buy 3-4 players. We need a centre-half to cover, which I've been told that the lad Phillips from Blackburn is very, very good. Very good. But he's young. So, they might just push him in later on. When it gets near the end of the season, if we're doing, we don't know. We got Emerson. He can do what Porro does. Maybe not as good, but he can do it. Ben Davies is a stand-in for Udogie at the moment. Now we lose 2 players when they go to the Africa Cup. But we might only lose them for 1 or 2 games. But you got Bentancur coming back. You got Højbjerg. I thought he done well when he came on the other day. He's a proper pro in Højbjerg. I'm not sure about Skippy at the moment. He seems to play. He's another Harry Winks for me at the moment.
I've cast him
sideways and backwards. That's what he is. But he's got to get that out of his game. He's got to. But I think we might need a striker, because I think we got Johnson, who's a cover. He can play, and we got Solomon on that side. You've got Richie and Sonny, but I think we will need another striker, because I think Kulu's been outstanding this year.
I think he has been since he's come back from international break. I think before he went with Sweden, I think there was a lot of talk about him not necessarily being the player that we first bought him for. But I think, like you said, I think the last couple of games he's really shone himself again. But Graham, your chat kind of leads me on to the next question that I want to ask everyone before we jump onto Luton. And Crackers, I'll come to you for this. Where do you see Spurs finishing? I know Crackers has said top 4. Are you getting carried away, or are you just taking every game as it comes?
Top, finishing top. No, listen, I've always said, until you can't, you can. And that's the belief that the players should have. And it's the belief that the fans should have. Honestly, until you cannot, you must think that you can. Because if we don't think we can win it, then, and the players think that, guess what? You ain't winning it. You will not win it. You have to believe you can win it. So until we can't be top, I'm saying we win it. And look, Wolves won on Saturday against City, a few blips, and gets them boys right. Who knows? I mean, Leicester were 14,000 to 1 or something crazy, weren't they, that season?
15,000.
They won the league. They won the league. Wimbledon versus Liverpool in '88 Cup final. They didn't have a prayer, not a prayer, and won it. So football's chaos, football's mad, and if you believe you can do it, you can do it. If you don't believe it, you won't do it. So I'm going to top.
Can I ask a question to Ollie?
Okay.
You're an Arsenal. You ain't an Arsenal. You're an Arsenal fan. You're an Arsenal fan.
Where are you going with this?
No, I'm asking you a question, a serious question.
Okay.
Do you think you can win the league this year?
If I've got my Arsenal hat on,
yes, yeah, or Liverpool or Man United.
Oh, definitely not United.
Right.
Arsenal, I would say no because of the injuries.
Right. But no, I'm saying you're an Arsenal fan. Arsenal fans will be going, yeah, we're better than Tottenham. We'll win the league.
I see what you mean. I'm not very good at guinea pig.
No, right. Liverpool think they're going to win the league. But we beat Liverpool and we played Arsenal off the pitch. So why should we not be positive, like Crackers are saying, and saying, yes, we can win every game? Because that's the mentality. That is the mentality you have to have.
I think it's because I'm so used to being burned.
Leave the club because you're wasting your time.
Well, like Jay says, just keep staying an Arsenal ladies fan. That's why I can answer the question. But no, you're right. I think that's the thing. We do need to head for the stars. It's just I'm just so scared of getting burnt in again. Because Dan, obviously, we are the only unbeaten team with Arsenal. And the fact of obviously last year was the narrative that Arsenal were going to win it and they bottled it. Is this necessarily the narrative that's coming out that everybody loves Tottenham again? And it's going to get to that point where you've bottled it again if we don't manage to get it over the line.
It all depends where you are, though, because if you're playing catch-up for a long time, you can't really bottle it if you never have it. Arsenal had it in their grasp last season, didn't win the league title. Let's be honest, they bottled it. Exactly, Graham. So it's all about the context of where you are in the season. If you're sort of second or third and always playing catch-up, then no. And even then, it's going to be above our expectation. I think Crackers has obviously sort of stolen my thunder. I was going to say top, but now I'm going to sort of bring it down slightly by saying, because we're playing once a week, us not getting top four is almost kind of going to let it slip through our fingers with the starts that Chelsea and Manchester United have had. Obviously, not getting to Europe last season is disappointing, but if you can make that to your advantage the following season, like Chelsea did when they won the title in 2017, they didn't have Europe season before. Leicester, of course, didn't have Europe when they won the league. It's kind of when you play less football and you make positives of it, that's when it can really pay off. So obviously, no one wants to not get into Europe, but that kind of argument we've had for years of should we be in the Europa League, should we be in the Europa Conference League? You know, maybe actually it's not the best thing for you. So I'll hedge my bets to say top four for now because we're only 7 games in. If you ask me 20 games down the line and we're in the title mix, then you say, back to Cracker's point, you have to believe. But I'm just going to keep it a bit cautious to start with because there is so much football and I think you've got to ride that crest of the wave. So let's see where we are after Christmas and reinforcements and so on and so forth. But I'd be disappointed if we're not in the Champions League next season, especially if you get the top 5 berth as well because of the UEFA rankings and all that kind of expansion of the Champions League. So, 12 months from now, if we're not in the Champions League, I'd be very disappointed.
No, I think
Hollie, don't ever be frightened of getting burnt by being ambitious and saying these things and dreaming these things because you're only getting burnt by some 15-year-old kid like with a Twitter account that just goes, like, what do you care what anybody thinks? Like, I care for the opinion of a few family friends and the family itself. And then everything else is just noise. So when all the memes come out of falling short, I don't like that. I see them, but they just don't even touch the sides because I don't care for these people's opinions. So, like, you know, it's far too much. Or I don't want to get carried away because there'll be loads of like banter and this and that and Talk Sport and Paddy Power will put out loads of like adverts and I don't care. They're just like, you know, you have to dream. You have to believe you can do it. And take it on the chin if you don't.
Welcome to my world.
Oh dear. No, I know I shouldn't be, but I think for the last how many years it's been without a trophy and getting so I just get fed up. But you're right. I think I should change it for this season.
I'm going to buy you a trophy. Put it up there.
Thank you, boss. Cheers. I need it to go on the back.
I'm going to put it up there. Hollie won a trophy. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it. To be fair, I think I've actually won more trophies in my own footballing career than I've seen Tottenham lift one. And I'm retired now. So that says it all. But moving on, because obviously we do have another game to face at the weekend. And that is Luton. So Graham, I'll come to you. I'm not going to be negative. But how do you see this one going down? Obviously away from home again. We're riding on that wave of beating Liverpool. How are you feeling?
I used to score a lot of goals against Luton at Luton. Seriously.
There you go. Vote you in.
I think I scored 5 goals against them. So, yeah, I like playing there. It's tight. The atmosphere will be unbelievable. You'll get Tottenham fans in the Luton end everywhere on Saturday. Some of them probably might buy a house for the weekend and just watch it from there. But no, it'd be. Listen, they've had 2 good results: Wolves at home and Everton away. But we're better than them. You know, where I watched the game the other week when West Ham went there. We're better than them. And if we can move the ball, you have to move the ball quickly on that pitch, because it does feel that there's no space. But the pitch is the same size as at the Tottenham Stadium. It's no smaller. It's the same size, but it just feels smaller. So you have to move the ball quicker. And I'm going. We're going to win quite comfortably.
Whoa, love that. I love that. I mean, Crackers, how are you feeling? Are you feeling the same thing? Do you think we'll see Richie on the left for this game again?
Yeah, I can't see him changing up much as long as he's not got any injury worries. I think he'll put the same sort of team out again, probably exactly the same, to be honest. I did see today somebody sent me a picture of some tickets in the away end for Saturday, trading at £5,000, 5,000 British pounds. And funny enough, I said to them, you could buy one of those. You buy one of the terraced houses that backs onto Kenilworth Road. Like, you could watch it from the back bedroom window, have a beer because you're not in the stadium, and then rent the house out afterwards. It's nuts. But look, you go there and you be respectful, and you give them. You're professional. You play the game. But if we play as well as we can, we should be ragging them all around the place, to be honest. And it's about time we had a little bit of cocksure confidence with it. I don't think it hurts in football sometimes. You can be confident and respectful. So I'd be amazed if we have anything other than a good win there Saturday.
Crackers, you just respect every team. But you say we're better than them, so get out there and prove it. That's all you got to say.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely. And obviously, Dan, as well, in that kind of sense, this is the team that we should be beating. I think this year I've said in my head that if we go and beat every team we should be beating, unlike previous years, we're in good stead. So this is definitely one of those games, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you don't want to disrespect Luton, as Graham says, and I think you've got to give them credit for getting their first win of the season at the weekend. They've also got Burnley at home on Tuesday. They win that one. It's 2 from 2. They're going to be confident going into it. But at the same time, as you say, on paper, we're far better in terms of personnel. I know you don't win football matches on paper, but really, after the highs of the last 2 weeks, you can't then fall up against Luton, especially if you want to be going for the biggest prizes, as Crackers said. So you're kind of just thinking, showing the respect, play the strongest team. I know some people are saying, well, it's only Luton, make wholesale changes. No, I don't agree with that at all. So just as you were last week, play exactly the same kind of football. I know it's not going to be easy, but if you do what you're doing against Arsenal and Liverpool, then why are you not beating Luton? So, yeah, I think we'd be disappointed not to get 3 points.
And I think that's the thing. I think I don't want to see changes because we spoke about all night the fact we've got this whole week for recovery. It's like, Graham, we don't need to switch too many players around, do we?
No, he won't do that. He won't. He might make one change and say, right, we just need a bit of... I think you'll find that the midfield and the back four won't get changed very, 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 very rarely. It'll be the front three, but Sonny will be the major one. You got Kulu, who he loves. So it'll be Johnson, Solomon or Richie on the other side. So that's what that'll be his changes. He might go with, if Johnson's fit, he might go with him on Saturday. I wouldn't have thought so because he played and he didn't get injured. He just got cramped, didn't he? And really bad because he hadn't played and trained. So, but this manager, he won't fiddle around with the team. You know, if we get an injury, one comes in, bang, done. That's it. That's what you have. That's what you have to do if you want to be successful. I had a little go when he didn't play the right team against Fulham, but that was his. You know, because I went back through all his teams he played when Celtic won the League Cup in Scotland. He made one change in the whole lot of the old competition. He didn't do that with us. And I understand he said he had to see what player, because we want in Europe, he had to see players. Well, no, you just had to go in the video and see how bad they were last year. You wouldn't have played them. So
very true.
Yeah, but that's the truth. I'm saying what you know, we could have won the League Cup this year because they got another good draw, Fulham. So, you know, it's a shame, but I think in the league he will have his proper team.
Definitely. I think you're right, Greg. I think lots of us were annoyed at the Fulham game, but we're still in another cup. So hopefully, like you said, he doesn't make too many changes for the Prem and obviously the cup. But I want to get our score predictions because why not? So, Crackers, I'll come to you first. What is your score prediction for the weekend?
I am going to go, blimey. Do you know what? I don't think I'm even going to give them a goal. I'm going 3-0 us.
Love that. Wow, that would be good. It'd be nice to get a clean sheet at their gaff. And Dan, what's your score prediction?
I'll take the no-nonsense 2-0 away win.
Nice, like it. And Graham?
4.
4. You're going a 4-0 straighter.
4-0 or 4-1. I'm debating.
And how many are Spurs going to score, Graham?
All 4. I did it all right on Saturday. I said 2-1 Saturday. So
there we go. You're the lucky guru.
Yeah, but I just think they're quite good at corners, and we're not the best marking corners. If you have a look at the goal on Saturday, we could go to Liverpool and say, well, that wasn't a free kick, but you got a free kick and score from it. Because it was a free kick into Van Dijk at the back post, nobody picking him up. That's the one fear. So definitely. I think I'm going to change and go 4-1.
I don't blame you. But it would be nice to get a clean sheet away from home. But like you say, you can never bet your money on Spurs.
Listen, if we win 4-1, it's a good result.
It is definitely 100%. But it's been an honour to have you guys on tonight to dissect obviously the Liverpool game, the bit of controversy, and then looking ahead for the rest of the season. So I'm going to go around the room. We'll do our goodbyes. So first of all, Graham, thank you again for coming on, my friend. It's been great to have you on. I'm sure everybody can find you, but where can they find you?
Anywhere you want. I'm everywhere, Hollie. I'm everywhere. I'm like Graham Roberts 4 at Graham Roberts 4 on Twitter, well, X, whatever they call it now. I'm everywhere. I'm at the ground. If you want to come and talk to me, come and talk to me. I'm that sort of person.
I love it, Graham. Thank you. And Crackers as well, my friends. Where can everybody find you when your Wi-Fi is working?
Yeah, when I'm not putting pesetas in the meter for a bit of electricity, and I'm not trying to shut my dogs up either as well. So they're just trying to spoil, that's all it is. At Mr. Cracknell across the socials. I'm also Mildred Smith on Mumsnet, housewife from Cheshire. You can find me there. I have got OnlyFans, but you don't want to see that. Putting up all posters for upcoming nights, Chrissy Waddle and Keith Birkinshaw and Steve Perryman and Naeem coming up as well. And
Hollie, did you hear my name there? Did you hear my name?
No, I was waiting for
it. I've got enough. I don't want no more.
Yeah, so take a look. Loads of good nights coming up all around the country. And so that's where you can find me. Thank you for inviting me on.
No, thank you, Crackers. And Dan as well. It's been a pleasure to have you on again. I know it's been a little while, but I love your insights as always. So where can everybody find you?
Cheers, Holes. It's been a pleasure to be on the show. You can find me on Twitter, or X as the kids call it these days, at Dan Tracy 1983. As simple as that.
No, thank you, Dan. Honestly, it's been great to have all three of you on. It's been a good laugh as well. I know last year it was a therapy session, but this year this year at the moment it's good vibes. So I'm liking it.
Where can we find you?
Find me at Hollie Agenbar.
Right,
on Instagram, Twitter.
No,
I'm
just passing it out to all those other fans that are going to come after you.
Please don't. No, but honestly, it's been a pleasure to have you on. It's been a pleasure to have all your comments as well. If you're rewatching this, make sure you like and subscribe. I think I'm going to do a member show on Wednesday because I'm actually going to stick to my routine now. And then Hollie Hotspurs Live is back next Monday to dissect the Luton game. So make sure you're around for that one. And like we always say, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.